Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. The Chilliwack School Board debates the Portal homeless shelter near Chilliwack Secondary and Middle schools. Two high-profile Valley court cases hit the docket this week. An 82-year-old Cultus Lake woman is missing, and controversy at the Rosedale Harvest Festival. Thanks for watching. We're committed to providing local news and news that impacts our local audience from Harrison to Garrison, Greendale to Hope, and everywhere in between, including Fairfield Island, Little Mountain, Promontory, the Eastern Hillsides, Chilliwack Mountain, Yarrow, and Cultus Lake. In addition to news, sports, and weather, we're welcoming back former Attorney General and former MLA for Chilliwack-Hope, Barry Pinner, this week for his interview with Chilliwack-Hope MP and Conservative candidate in the October 21st federal election, Mark Strahl. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. On Tuesday night, Chilliwack School Board held a special meeting about the Portal homeless shelter and its location near Chilliwack Secondary and Middle schools. Trustee Darrell Ferguson made a motion to send their concerns on behalf of them to the city. Now, the 3-year temporary use extension will be debated on October 15th at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Ruth and Naomi's and BC Housing held an information center at the Ruth and Naomi Family Center. Executive Director Bill Raddatz said that he had not received any complaints from parents about the permit extension.
Bill Raddatz of Ruth and Naomi's. Now, this is not the end of this process. This is pretty much the beginning of this public information forum. What are you trying to accomplish here tonight?
Tonight we're just trying to accomplish, give information as to why we're seeking to get approval for a TU, which is for a 3-year period. So it's just to say, hey, here's what we're looking at, here's why we're doing it.
The public forum will be next Tuesday, 7 o'clock in the council chamber. It was the time for corn, tractors, rides, kids, and fun. The annual Rosedale Harvest Festival was last Saturday, but the 2019 edition of the parade was not without controversy. The Chilliwack Pregnancy Care Center had a float in that parade. The pro-life movement were handing out pamphlets to adults and goodies for kids, but mixed within the candy were plastic toys in the shape of a fetus. Many people expressed their outrage on social media, and the story went viral across the country. Parade organizers have apologized online and will take steps to monitor handouts next year. Two high-profile Valley court cases started this week. The former executive assistant to Chilliwack MLA John Martin, Desmond Devnich, faces 2 counts of fraud over $5,000 and 2 counts of breach of trust by a public officer. The charges cover the time period from June 2013 to February 2017. The judge-only trial for Gabriel Klein also started this week and is expected to last until December the 20th. Klein is accused of fatally stabbing Abbotsford High School student Letitia Reimer and seriously wounding another student at the start of the 2016-2017 school year. The search continues for an 82-year-old Cultus Lake woman, Valentina Kushnariva, who went mushroom picking last Thursday and has not returned home, and family obviously are concerned. Search and rescue continued to look for her in the bush, and with another long-time search. The Wings of Mercy had a drone search on Sunday. Crews were on Elk Mountain looking for Christopher Couture. He's been missing since January 26th. His mother, based in Edmonton, did not make the trip to Chilliwack for this particular search. Chilliwack-Hope federal election candidates have had their day at a number of public and private debates and forums, and now comes the final push to get voters to the ballot box on October the 21st. Chilliwack Citizens for Change will have their vote bus on the road on Election Day. This will aid those with transportation challenges to get to their polling station. Information can be found on their Facebook page. And when we return, the chillTV Sports Report. Daniel Campbell and the UFE men's golf team made history last Sunday, winning the inaugural Canada West Golf Championship in dominant fashion. Playing at the Okanagan Golf Club's Bear Course in Kelowna, Campbell laid waste to the men's individual field. The senior from Bellingham, Washington, followed Saturday's sparkling 64 with a tidy 4 under 68 in Sunday's final round to run his score to 12 under for the tournament. For the fourth time in as many years, the PBR, the Professional Bull Riders, Canada's elite Monster Energy Tour, will be bucking into Abbotsford with the Abbotsford Classic. That's Saturday, October 19th at the Abbotsford Centre. Tickets for the one-day event range in price from $25 to $100, and of course standard fees may apply. And your tickets can be purchased at the Abbotsford Centre box office or online through Ticketmaster. The Monster Energy Tour regularly features Canada's elite alongside some of the league's top international athletes, squaring off against the bucking bulls from across the nation. Fans will see exhilarating 8-second rides and wrecks throughout the action-packed event at the PBR's courageous riders face off against their 2,000-pound opponents. At the start of the season, the Valley Huskers billed themselves as the team on the rise. Unfortunately, that has not been the case this season. Last Saturday, the Huskers lost to Langley 66-0. The Huskers are now 2-7 and wrap up a disappointing season this Saturday on the road in Nanaimo when they take on the Vancouver Island Raiders. And now, welcome Barry Penner and his chillTV interview election series this week with Mark Strahl, MP for Chilliwack-Hope and Conservative candidate for the October 21st federal election.
Welcome to chillTV News of the Week. I'm here with our Conservative Party of Canada candidate, Mark Strahl, who's now completed 2 terms as our Member of Parliament for this area. Mark, what's different this time, and what are you hoping to accomplish that you haven't already?
Well, I think we do have a great list of accomplishments to point to here in Chilliwack-Hope. During my time as Member of Parliament, I've had unprecedented engagement with our community, over a couple of dozen public meetings that I've had over the last 4 years. I've tried to involve our youth. I've worked with local and provincial governments to find solutions to the problems that we're facing. And I want to continue to do that work, fighting for the people of this community, both at home and in Ottawa. I think I know the community. I was born and raised here, and we need a representative that brings the common sense of the common people to the House of Commons, and that's what I've tried to do, and I want to keep doing it as long as the people here want me to do that job.
Speaking of common sense, in every election, politicians are accused by some as trying to bribe voters with their own money. Some would say this election has been no different. And in fact, it seems maybe a new standard's been reached, with certain parties trying to outdo each other with how much they can offer to spend. Have voters really lost interest in balancing the budget? This used to be a big topic of concern for Canadians 10 or 15 years ago. And does it partly explain why Andrew Scheer, your leader, is no longer saying he'll try to balance the budget in 2 years, but is looking over a longer time frame?
Yeah, well, the reason that Andrew Scheer has said that he's going to a 5-year plan to balance the budget is because Justin Trudeau has absolutely gone on an out-of-control spending spree. Reporters have put together a list of just their announcements before the election in August, where they promised $15 billion in new spending. The Liberal platform now is looking at an additional $60 billion over top of their annual $20 billion deficit. So there really is irresponsible spending, especially from this Liberal government. Every one of our platform commitments has been independently verified and costed by the Parliamentary Budget Officer, which is an independent officer of Parliament, to make sure that what we're promising can actually be delivered on. So I would say that our plan is responsible, and going to a 5-year timeline to balance the budget is responsible as well. Previously, we had hoped to do it much sooner, but given that Justin Trudeau broke his promise to have small deficits that would be gone by 2019, we've had to adjust our timeline as well.
Do you think Canadians have lost interest, though, in balancing the budget? Because there really doesn't seem to be as much discussion about that anymore.
Well, I think Canadians should be concerned about it, and perhaps politicians haven't done a good enough job explaining why deficits matter, because borrowed money has to be paid back. Canadians understand that. They know that if they take out a loan...
Usually with interest.
Well, exactly. And what it means is when the debt continues to rise, more and more taxpayer money has to go to service that debt. And if we don't get that under control, in the very near future, the amount that we spend on servicing the debt will actually be higher than what we spend on healthcare in this country in terms of federal transfers. And when you start to put it in those terms, when you say that's where the resources are going, I think Canadians do take notice. They do also know that Today's deficits are a bill for our children and our grandchildren, and we need to constantly remind people of that, that while Justin Trudeau's spending money like a drunken sailor right now, the bill is going to go to our kids and grandkids, and that's just not how Canadians, I don't think any Canadian would do that to their own children. They wouldn't leave them with a bill instead of an inheritance, and I think we need to get back to a balanced budget.
Just switching topics, I was looking at some statistics just yesterday and was struck by a graph that showed that the amount of immigration to Canada annually, on an annual basis, as measured on a per capita basis, has really remained essentially flat over several decades, coming in at just under 1% of the population per year. The federal Liberal government has proposed to increase the absolute number of immigrants by about 40,000 per year by the year 2021, up from the current 300,000 or so per year. What does your party and what do you feel is the right amount of immigration? I know some people feel there's too much, others feel we don't have enough to maintain our population levels.
Well, I think that the number shouldn't be arbitrarily set by politicians, quite frankly. I think that we've seen in this election, we have on the one side the Liberals say more, no matter what, and we have other parties saying less, no matter what. What I believe that we need to do is look at the labor needs of Canada, look at family reunification as part of a compassionate immigration system, and find a number that works for Canadians. It might be higher one year than the next. We need to have independent data that shows what does Canada need, what types of immigrants does Canada need, in what categories, and we should focus on that. We shouldn't be just saying there should be an ever greater number, and we shouldn't be saying we need less immigrants because they're causing all sorts of problems. We need to have an independent analysis of the data. Canadians are not having enough children to replace ourselves. We have jobs that are going unfilled. We need immigration to continue to fill that void. And the number, I think, shouldn't be a political football. And I think that is, immigration has been a major issue, and I think it's because Justin Trudeau, quite frankly, has mishandled that issue. He has broken down the consensus of Canadians on it because the system is not seen as being orderly. There are people jumping the queue by the tens of thousands just coming across the border, and that has undermined support for immigration. We need to fix it.
Another topic, a couple of weeks ago, Justin Trudeau, the federal Liberal leader and current Prime Minister, announced plans to make so-called assault rifles like the AR-15 illegal in Canada, and also at the same time to give municipalities, local governments, the authority to ban or restrict handguns. Leaving aside the impracticability of a patchwork of gun rules from town to town, how do citizens, or why do citizens need to have handguns anyway? And as for hunting, what is it about semi-automatic rifles that requires a clip of 25, 50, or 100 rounds of ammunition? Why are these kinds of firearms required or necessary?
Okay, a couple of things on that. I think, first of all, if Justin Trudeau actually thinks this is a plan to crack down on gun crime, he's sorely mistaken. Going after highly vetted, law-abiding gun owners as a way to tackle gang and gun crime is simply lazy and inefficient government. You should be going after those that are using guns in the commission of a crime. You should be going after those smuggled guns coming across the border. So first of all, there's a misplaced priority on what actually his target should be. We've always said target gun crime, don't target law-abiding gun owners. If you go to the Chilliwack Rod and Gun Club, which I have done many times, talk to the people up there, there are many members who target shoot, who do not hunt at all. They are there for the joy of the sport. They shoot, they would say they've never gone hunting, they shoot paper and steel. And they go up there to target shoot with handguns, that some of them even shoot with an AR-15. It's not a hunting rifle, no one's ever said it is. But to simply say because of a type of firearm that it should be banned because criminals use certain firearms in the commission of a crime, that won't stop them. Taking something away from a law-abiding citizen does not reduce crime. And so we need gun laws that are smart, gun laws that actually target criminals and leave law-abiding Canadians alone.
In the riding of Chilliwack-Hope, who do you feel is your main competition? The Liberals, the People's Party, or now that the NDP have found a candidate, Would it be that party, or who do you see as the main competitor?
Well, I think certainly I'm focused on Justin Trudeau and replacing Justin Trudeau's government in Ottawa. I think he's broken his promises to Canadians. He hasn't run an ethical and transparent government. He promised he'd balance the budget. He hasn't done that. Could go on and on about all of the things that he's done, SNC-Lavalin, that prove that he doesn't deserve another term of office. So I've certainly been focused on the Liberal Prime Minister. Each election is different. I don't pretend to know that a person who voted for me last time will do it again. So we work hard for every vote. I have no indication of who the competition is. We're all fighting for the same vote. So traditionally, it's been between Conservatives and Liberals for the most part. There was a period where the NDP was the main competition there. So I expect it'll be one of those two parties that'll be the main competitor with Conservatives and myself in this election.
And the final word goes to you. Anything else that you'd like to tell local voters before they go to the polls on Monday, October 21st?
I think I want to thank the voters, first of all, for putting their trust in me for the last 8 years, and I'm asking them to do it again. I believe I've been a strong representative both here at home and a strong representative in Ottawa, holding Justin Trudeau to account. I'm hoping that the voters of Chilliwack-Hope will hold Justin Trudeau accountable too for his broken promises and his unethical government, and they'll vote Conservative, a government that will live within its means, leave more money in your pockets, because it's time for you to get ahead.
Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next week with another interview. I'm Barry Penner.
Nasi goreng is an Indonesian fried rice dish. It's an original recipe that has been handed down from Doutzen that we at Hofstede's have been using for 20 years. It is mildly spicy with hints of curry. Come in and enjoy it on Thursdays in our cafe as well as in our takeout section every day. Please come and enjoy.
chillTV weather, sunny autumn skies and chilly nights for the next week. Highs near 15 and lows close to freezing. We'd like to thank our very special guest this week, former Attorney General for BC and MLA for Chilliwack-Hope, Barry Penner, and Mark Strahl, MP for Chilliwack-Hope and Conservative candidate in the upcoming federal election. Thank you both for your interview today. Next week, Barry will be back for his final interview for the election season, and that with Liberal candidate for Chilliwack-Hope, Kelly Valonis. And while we're on the subject of the election, be sure to mark us down for October 21st for chillTV's election night coverage. Yes, you'll get the national results, but more importantly, you'll get the local perspective on what is happening from our hosts, Barry Penner and former Chilliwack Mayor Clint Hames on Chilliwack and Canada Chooses. Our live cast begins 30 minutes before the polls close, 6:30, and continues right through the evening. We'll have fabulous guests, including Diane Jansen, Louis DeJagger, and John Less, who will share their opinions on all the happenings. I'll be there as well, providing you with updates. Now, here at chillTV, we know we're not competing with the big networks. So even if you're watching Global, CTV, CBC, flip open your laptop and enjoy our show. Just make sure you mute the TV. Finally, if you'd like to share the spotlight, even if you've never been on camera before, send us a note to news@chilltv.ca with your CV, and if you have it, links to your video. And if there's something in Chilliwack and the Eastern Fraser Valley you feel we should be reporting on, again, send us an email to the same address, news@chilltv.ca. That's the news this week. I'm Don Lehn.